Hello, Patreon. It's Genghis. I'm crouching down because the height of the camera is perfect height for back there. But um, today's project is basically fixing what I fucked up. As all you know, I've been playing around with mirrors and such, and I got to the point where I wanted to try to work with vinyl with the mirrors. And I know what I did wrong. It took some thinking to figure out where I, but I think I have it dialed in. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to clean this off. So I have a nice clean piece of glass to work with. This is one of the bathroom signs for my shop. I've wanted to replace all the signs in my shop with all like mirrored and more fancy kind of signs and stuff. Everything's on paper and I think it's kind of tacky. It worked for as long as it was functioning. Now I kind of want to upgrade. It's pretty much what I'm saying. But so I'm going to scratch this off. I'm going to make another piece of vinyl to go on this, and I will lay the vinyl on the video. But I'm going to go ahead and clean this off, get the vinyl ready, and try not to fuck up this time. I actually almost cried when I cleaned this off, and the lettering and everything else, let me see if you can see it, started to come off with it, because it took me all day to get this exactly the way that I wanted it. And I could see the vinyl was peeling off. So the way I thought of saving it was painting the black paint background to the silver. So basically what the black on the black paint does is it protects the silver. The silver is pretty delicate. So if I were to lay the silver, because this is chemically silvered, if I were to lay the silver and accidentally scratch the back, you will see that on the front. So the way that you can kind of protect it from getting damaged is you add the black paint on the back, and you can touch it and, you know, the silver is fine. So what I did was I painted the black, and as I was doing that, started accidentally chipping away some of the stuff that was laid. But I think it's because I put too much coating of the silver on there. Because what I got was big chunks of silver coming off, and that's no good. I think I put way too much silver on this. So a little less on the silver, because you really don't need a lot of silver. But I was trying to do an angel gild and I failed. And I attempted to save it by adding more silver, which was stupid of me, because all it did was just tarnish it and not be gold. But angel gild is gold. And that was the point of doing the angel gild. But yeah, it tarnished, and I tried to save it by adding more silver, which was not a good idea. And then I tried to further save it by putting black paint on it, and then as I was scraping all my imperfections away, it peeled off my silver. So yeah, that's what we're gonna work on. I need signs for my shop. We're on lockdown. I've got plenty of time, and this is the best time for me to right my wrongs, pretty much. So yeah, so let's get started. All right, so we have our vinyl cut. So basically a vinyl cut, and I went ahead and took the design off so we can start all over with a nice fresh piece. So glass, when you're chemically silvering glass, it's very important for it to be extremely clean. You can't have any kind of oils or debris or anything that's going to cause the silvering solution to not go over the surface easily. There shouldn't be any friction. Oil and dirt and all that stuff will cause friction, so it's very important to clean that off. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and clean this glass off before we stick the vinyl on there. And we also need to polish it to make sure that any kind of like surfaces on the glass, like scratches, are removed, to make sure that everything glides. And you'll see what I'm talking about. So we're going to go ahead and wet with distilled water. You use tap water for this portion, but I'm not close to a sink, so we're just going to go ahead and use distilled water. So basically what I'm doing is you got to pick a side. Oops. Pick a side, the side you want to be silvered. You'll have your dirty side, you'll have your clean side, or you can clean both sides if you want. It's kind of not really important. But whatever side that you choose, you have to make sure that it remains clean throughout the entire process. So so I went ahead and wet it, and you'll also see too, like throughout this process as well, I'll keep the surface wet. It is pretty important for this to stay wet. So I have some cleaning powder here, which I got from angelgilding.com. I'll go ahead and sprinkle that on there a little bit. Okay, and take a paper towel. I'm gonna go ahead and clean it. Want to make sure to get the edges too. That's one thing that I learned kind of the hard way is all the edges when you're touching the glass and stuff. It's very, very important that you make sure all of the oils from your skin are removed. Throughout this entire process, I have to wear gloves, which working with vinyl adhesive sometimes is a little difficult because it wants to stick to your gloves. And go ahead and clean that off. I'm going to go ahead and do this a couple times because I did handle this piece of glass quite a bit. So I use this tub here as my little rinsing station, since again I'm not next to a sink. Go ahead and rinse that off. There you go. Off. Rinse off the back too. Why not? It's kind of one of the reasons why I like doing it in my kitchen. But again, I live with other people, and sometimes my projects, they dominate a lot of space. So until I can manage to live by myself, which living in Southern California is sometimes impossible, I have to be very considerate of other people's space. So, all right, let's go ahead and do that again. A little of that. I'm so glad that before this lockdown, I I ordered more stuff. I ordered more stuff from Angel Gilding. That's where I usually get most of my mirroring supplies, which, by the way, they posted one of the videos that I had posted on Facebook as an example of good mirroring technique, and I was very flattered. This wasn't the mirror that I was working on with the vinyl, of course, because that one turned to shit, but like the normal mirroring, just to kind of get the process down, they shared it and they liked it, which was pretty cool. Water. Just get all this shit off of here. Sides. Why not? I know which side's the dirty side, just because taking off the original design, there's still spots of silver on that side. So it kind of lets me know which side's the dirty side, which side's the clean side. Let's go ahead and mix it off. Okay, so we're gonna get our clean side up. Make sure this stays wet. Okay, clean side up, right? Yep, clean side up. Okay, so now we want to polish the surface of this to make sure that any kind of friction from scratches or anything is eliminated. And also we're going to use this nice little buffing pad. I forget what it's called. There's an official term for this thing and I forget, but we got a little bit of warm water here. Hot water. Yeah, it's still pretty hot. Hot water, basically, so this is cerium oxide. Sprinkle a little bit of the cerium oxide on there, okay? We also want to sprinkle just a little bit more of the cleaner, just a little, okay? What we're gonna do is just basically buff the surface of this glass to make sure that's nice and smooth, because as the chemicals are working on the glass, they're kind of sliding back and forth, which you'll see me rocking the surface or rocking this little tub, and it's to get the chemicals to evenly distribute. So if it gets kind of caught on any kind of tension, it will not distribute evenly, and that will become a problem. More so I find with the angel gilding than the actual silvering, which is part of the reason why the angel gilding has been turning to for me. I got semi-successful one attempt, but then my dumbass decided I wanted to go ahead and retint it to add more silver, and you're not supposed to retint it after it's been tinned. So, you know, it's been trial and error for me, but definitely got at least the actual silvering part down. It's just everything else I kind of have to start working on. Make sure this stays nice and wet. Before the lockdown, there's this guy named David A. Smith out in the UK that teaches these workshops on mirror gilding and all this really cool shit. And I, before the lockdown, was trying to plan a trip out there to kind of take one of his workshops and shit. I mean, of course, that's going to be probably postponed for a little while. It's fine, but that is definitely one of my goals, is to be able to afford one day, go out there and take one of his workshops. Since I'm kind of in the UK a lot anyway, I don't know, it'd be kind of nice to take an official workshop and learn all this stuff instead of all this trial and error business. Even though, you know, trial and error is kind of fun, it's just you do waste a lot of materials not knowing what you're doing and experimenting all the time. So I want to save on materials. Probably be good to have a mentor. And time. My time is pretty expensive. Buffing this damn surface. And so how you know the surface is nice and clean is how the water runs off the surface. So usually when you put a piece of glass under running water, you'll see a bunch of streaks. Now, when you buff and clean glass, when you run water over it, you won't see any streaks. It's like so smooth, like it's hard to explain. But that's how you know when the surface of your glass is ready for silvering. I need to get another stand so I can not have to orientate my phone every time I decide to move it. It's still not the way I want it, so we're gonna go ahead and do this again. Still way too many runs. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and buff the surface again and see if I can get it nice and smooth. All right, here we go. Actually, I'm gonna save memory space. I'm gonna turn it off and we'll be back as soon as I get it to where I need it to go. All right, so I went ahead and buffed the glass and rinsed off, make sure all of the cerium oxide was rinsed off of it because we can't have any kind of excess anything on there. And so now we're going to lay the vinyl. I just want to make sure that the vinyl is on the little sticky transfer well. So we're going to go ahead and do one of these. Make sure it's on there the way it needs to be. And you'll see throughout the course of this process me doing this over and over and over again. because this shit needs to stick on there really, really well. If it doesn't and it peels up during the process of silvering, it's gonna mess it up, and that's what happened last time. And I think, honestly, I think it was the type of vinyl that I used. I used the metallic kind. It's kind of like a foil, and the adhesive in the back of it doesn't really stick as well as the non-foil stuff. And so this is the non-foil stuff. So hopefully we won't experience that problem. So let's go ahead and remove the paper backing off of it without it splitting apart. I always have a hard time getting, plus two, my vinyl cutter cut some of the paper backing off of it too, which makes it kind of difficult sometimes to get it to separate. It pisses me off. We're back, and holy shit, was that too much fucking effort. Next time we're gonna do this my way. What the pros do, because I couldn't handle this. This is way too much, but we got there. We got there, which is important. So, okay, so got my vinyl, it's intact. We're gonna go ahead and lay this on some things on there, on this clean-ish surface. Oh, I hope I didn't dirty it in any kind of way, because that would be f***ed up. Okay. We have it on there the way we need to. All right, here we go. So we need to go ahead and get this vinyl to stick on there as well as we can. Try to make sure there's no bubbles too. Put some elbows into it. There we go. There we go. From what I understand, you can't do, there's not too much squeegeeing and pressing out of this. Because the last thing you want to happen is your vinyl lifting while you're doing the silvering, and I've had that happen, and it is a shit show after that. And again, last time I used the foil stuff. This is not the foil stuff. This hopefully will be a better result. Okay, so go ahead and take this part off. Sweet, nothing's lifting, which is awesome. Cool. I see a couple bubbles. Let me save this because I can use this for something else. Try not to waste supplies. A couple of bubbles. Deflate them. Hate these bubbles. Go ahead and go over it again. Now, as I was cutting this, some of the intricate parts did kind of fall off, and I'll bring this up closer to the phone, or my camera phone, so you can see what I'm talking about. There was two different directions I could go with this as far as what's going to be silver. I haven't decided if I was going to play around with spray paint and try to spray paint some gold, just to kind of see like how it would react to the silvering. That is also an experiment that I definitely want to visit, but we're not there yet. But either the letters can be silver or the background can be silver. And basically for the first layer, whatever I want silver, I remove the vinyl on. And as I was cutting the vinyl cutter blade started removing little details and kind of just made the decision for me. A lot of times when I'm using like vinyl and stuff like that happens, I'll cut like a second version of it and then take the pieces out from the second version to kind of replace what's missing on the design. But the pieces that the vinyl cutter removed, I'm okay with those being what they are. So we'll go ahead and leave them and just kind of like go with it. You know, instead of going against it, we'll go with it. Let's turn this around and do this. I'm very, very much determined to like not have this vinyl lift off. Okay. So hopefully you can see what I'm talking about, but when I went ahead and cut the vinyl, you could see it's like missing some pieces. So, and just for you, so you know, this is the same design as the design that I destroyed. We're redoing it, so it's the same thing, but yeah. The only difference is that the letters are probably going to end up being opposite of what they were before, and that's fine. Last time the word restroom was silver, and so was no pay, no poop, no pee. That was all silver. Now it's the background's going to be silver. And then there's a section on here where it kind of reverses, where it says for customers only. That part, the background's probably going to be black or gold, and then the letters are going to be silver. So you'll see what I'm talking about, but we'll go one more over this because you can't do this enough. Okay, so now I'm going to take my X-Acto knife and I'm going to do some weeding. You don't need to watch me for that because it might take a little while. So, yeah. Okay, everything has been weeded through. And so we have this. So basically, everywhere you see vinyl will not be silver. Everything else will be chemically silvered. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and move the camera so you can see what I'm doing. I have to go ahead and clean this part off. Anything that might have stuck on the glass, just gently, because like I said before, it has like a lot of little intricate detail. And I pressed and pressed and pressed this vinyl on here as much as I could to get it to stay, because once it starts to shift while I'm putting the solution on there, there's really no saving it. And I want this detail. Like you know, just judging off my tattoos, everybody should know that I love detail. But yeah, so let me go ahead and clean this, and then I'm going to situate my camera to where you can see the silvering process. All right, so we're back. I actually ended up just when I went ahead and redid a vinyl piece, because the last one, it just kept peeling up. And if it would have been like a couple of letters, I would have been fine with it. But it just kept popping off. And, you know, so after you lay the vinyl, you're supposed to wash it. And I am using a different kind of vinyl. I'm actually experimenting with vinyl to see which one works the best. But the letters kept popping off, and rapidly, like every time I shook the bin, one more letter would pop off. And I don't want to do too much fix-up work. I mean, if there's a little bit of cleanup work, that's one thing. But if it gets out of hand, then I'm not into it. So I redid it, and hopefully this works. So what we're going to do is, so I cleaned it off as gently as possible. Hopefully there isn't too much residue left, because if there's residue, then the tin for silver is not going to stick. So we need to put tin on there, and basically the tin is what makes the silver adhere to the surface of the glass. So the surface of the glass for sure has to be clean. So let's go ahead and mix our tin. So we want 2 ml of tin, and then we want 16 ounces of distilled water. So we've got our tin for silver right here. Let's go ahead and put 2 ml. Hopefully this vinyl will be the key, because like even though I didn't really like the foil for the masking, it worked better than this vinyl, so I might end up having to go back to the foil if this doesn't work, which I don't understand why I would have to do that. I hope I don't have to do that, but we'll see. All right, so we got 16 ounces, and I know it looks like a lot. It is, but you only need 2 ounces. So what we're gonna do first, though, before we put that tin in there, is we're gonna put this wetting agent on here. It's going to help the tin move about the surface a lot easier because there is tension that's caused by the vinyl. And so we want to eliminate that surface tension by adding the wetting agent. So we're going to put the tin on there. You can see the wetting agent's working pretty well. Okay. A little rocking. Let's try to get that tin. Okay, so I have silver reducer, silver solution, and silver activator, and it's all equal parts. We're going to do 15 ml each. So what we're going to do is we're first going to mix the silver activator with the silver solution. Okay. Okay, so we want 15 ml each. So this is the activator. It goes into the cup. Okay, close that. We don't get our caps mixed up. And then this is the silver solution. So we want 15 ml. Okay, we're going to put that with the activator, and then we're going to stick the reducer in a separate cup, and then we're going to mix, and then we're going to put 15. Okay, brand new cup goes in the cup. All right, kind of like to make sure that the surface is still wet. I mean, you never want the surface to dry, but you definitely want enough moisture on it before you pour. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and mix. So throw, 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 and we pour. Okay. Let's turn it a little bit. I want it to be able to flow a little bit more, so I'm going to add a little bit more water to the surface. I can see it turning though. It's starting to develop this yellow hue, and I know you can't really see it from where you're at, but you'll see it here in a little bit. It'll start to become pretty bright after a while. Oof, can smell the ammonia, so I know it's all mixed up. I was finding that when I did the cleanser, it was taking the vinyl off. So this time I didn't do the cleanser, and now the vinyl is adhering. So at least now I learned that I probably don't really need to use the cleaning solution in order to get it clean, because it seems to be adhering. So you could see, I could see in the video that you could see that is starting to turn this gray color. Underneath that gray, there's like this layer of yellow. And that yellow is basically the silver. So let's go ahead and rinse it off. See what we got. Like I said, most likely we'll probably need another layer, but that's fine. So this is where we're at. You can see most of the silver is kind of concentrated towards the center. Okay, so we want it even. We want it everywhere. So let's go ahead and do this. Slightly better. You can see it's a mirror. My crazy ass, of course, is tempted to re-tin it and relayer, but oops. I need to fill this back up. I'm gonna go ahead and call it good, because I'm afraid that if I silver it again, I'm gonna have what happened last time, where it'll just be kind of a marbled look, but you could see it's totally a mirror. But I think what I need to do next time is maybe be just a little bit more aggressive with the rocking of the tin. I think that's part of the reason why it's not distributing is as even as I'd like it to. And that's definitely important. I am, though, happy with calling this good. So we can definitely move on to another sign. I actually want to move on to doing my artwork in mirrors. I do have a design ready to go, and I think with today's progress, I'm kind of, I think I'm confident in proceeding, because even if it doesn't turn exactly mirrorish that I like, it'll probably still turn out decent enough for me to be happy with it. But like I said, I just need to be kind of a little bit more aggressive with distributing the tin, and maybe the silver will turn out better. But I'm also happy too that the vinyl, there's only one little edge that it started popping off towards the end. I mean, there's other places too that it's popping off now, but it's the end of it. So, oops. Oh, it kind of doesn't matter. I'm tired. It's like late right now, but I was so determined to get this done like today. The only thing that's left is to dry it and put the backing on it to protect the silver. But it does have to dry first. And this is what we got. So yeah, you can see the mirror, you can see some of the silver. It's just really the edges that didn't really transfer the way that I wanted. But like I said, just a little bit more aggressive with the rocking of the silver, or I'm sorry, the tin. And I think we should be good. So I'm going to go ahead and let this dry. And the backing's going to be painted. And then it'll be the moment of truth. I'm expecting that it is going to look kind of like marbled, you know, like mixed with silver, because I think I'm just going to go with black. I'm not going to experiment too heavy yet, but probably be a marbled silver sort of look that happens, and that's fine. Hopefully it'll get better. I mean, it got better today, you know, like learning a new trade is really, really fucking hard, but I am not afraid of hard work, so we'll get it. I will post what the end result looks like, and yeah, we'll continue from there. This is what we got. This definitely did not turn out as clean as I'd like, and as a matter of fact, so this is the back side. I removed the vinyl. Well, first I put the protective black on there, removed the vinyl, and now you can see the front. So there's definitely, so you can see my reflection. There's definitely some silver in there, but not as clean as I wanted it to be. As a matter of fact, once I add what I'm going to add to make the letters pop, it's going to have to be something that's equally as distracting, because the backs, you can see the background, it looks tarnished. It's got black and silver, and that's definitely not what I wanted. Sometimes the tarnished look looks good, but only if you're doing it on purpose, which this was not on purpose, so it is kind of bumming me out. So originally I was going to go for black for the letters, but I think now I'm going to go ahead and test out gold. I mean, it's already not what I want it to be, and I think gold is going to really be the only thing that's going to stand out to save this. I haven't tested gold. Well, I did the Angel Guild, which is gold, and that's really hard to do, and I've kind of given up on that. And I need to experiment a little bit more with the gold foil. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use spray paint, and hopefully the chemicals in the spray paint won't lift the black. I'm going to do very, very light layers, you know. So a few things that I've learned from this. Well, of course, the vinyl. The new vinyl that I used works so much better. Like, I'd had very little lifting, and I'm happy with that, because that was the problem last time with the last one. If you remember, it the letters were, some of them were gone, and that was because the vinyl had lifted during the silvering process. So I got that down. I think from now on, what I'm going to do for the background is I'm going to probably airbrush the black on there, using the sponge or any kind of brush. For the parts that didn't silver all that great, you can kind of see the texture, and that's from the sponge. I don't like that. So the only way that I can think to kind of combat that is blowing it through an airbrush. So there's no bristles or any kind of abrasion to scuff up the silver. Another thing is, God, that was another thing that shit, what was it? If it comes back to me, I'll say it. But there is some learning that I did get from this, so it's not 100% a failure. I did prepare another design, which is not a shop sign. It's just it's one of my art pieces. She's more simple, so I'm hoping the simplicity will help me kind of get, dial in the whole rocking of the tin, because I think the part of the problem too, the reason why the silver kind of hugged towards the center of the glass is because I wasn't aggressive enough rocking the glass when I had put the tin on there. So remember, the tin is what makes the silver solution stick to the glass, and it's all concentrated in the center of the piece. So you can see my phone reflection. And then if I move it up top, you don't see my phone reflection as much. And that's because the silver didn't really hug towards the top as much as it did towards the center. So I think what I need to do is just be a little bit more aggressive, rocking that tin back and forth on the glass to make sure it actually adheres to the glass, so the silver will actually stick. And I don't know if I need to put more of the wetting agent to make it glide over the surface, but that probably won't hurt either. So I'll go ahead and do that as well. But the next piece that I'm going to do, the silvering is concentrated towards the middle anyway. There is a lot of little pieces to it. Not nearly as aggressive as this. The design that I'm doing is my Oh Hell No Kitty, which she's more cartoony because she's Hello Kitty. But she has bandana print. She's wearing flannel. So there is some things on there that I need to learn how to move the solution over if I'm going to continue to work with vinyl, which I am, because, I need the vinyl to mask off the places where I don't want silver if I'm going to continue this project. So there's still some learning to be had. I did gain some knowledge from this. So all in all, it's not 100% a failure. If I didn't take anything from this, and I would say it's a failure, but I did take a few lessons from this. I'm going to go ahead and spray paint the back to see what happens, and hopefully that will turn out to be a nice thing to kind of distract away from the tarnished sort of background. So we'll be back. All right, so this is the end result. It actually didn't turn out bad. Definitely, I'm glad I did the gold. It did not do anything to the back, a negative anything to the back. But what it did do is it actually presented me with another idea for, a piece maybe down the line that might require this kind of texture. But look at this. Look how fucking gorgeous that is. This is the back of the piece. How beautiful is that? I definitely want to do something with this change of texture. I think it's gorgeous. I might even just go ahead and just make just multiple restroom signs. And maybe I can sell them. Maybe some businesses might want them. But this effect right here, wow. But, but this didn't turn out too shabby either. I mean, I got the mirroring in there. Like I said before, it's just not as clean as I would prefer, but I am glad that I went ahead and went with the gold. The gold definitely looks beautiful, and it makes it, you can read it more, I'm probably going to add one more layer because I can see that you can see through the gold, and I don't necessarily like that either. But all in all, not bad. I mean, I have a new sign for my shop that I'm happy with. It's legible. And with my shop the way that it is, there's a lot of antiques and a lot of brass, a lot of gold. It'll definitely work with the decor in there. So that's important. Yeah, I'm glad. I mean, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I'm going to clean off the front part of this because part of the reason why it doesn't look clean is some of the solution is on the front, but it's easy to wipe off. It's very, very delicate chemicals, so all I have to do is just wash the front. But yeah, all in all, I'd say I'd give it a pass. Until next time, I will see you soon. Thanks for watching.